So taking your chin to your chest now. And gently rocking forwards and backwards. Have your hands on your knees. And as you breathe out, folding forward. As you breathe in, and inflate your lungs and fill your belly space with movement coming all the way back up. And lift your head, take your head all the way up. Drop your head back, and then when you need to breathe out again, chin to chest, folding forward, squeezing the last bits of that air out, and then breathing in all the way up. Raise your chin, raise your head, even bring it into a little bit of a back bend perhaps, and then when you need to breathe in, nope, out again. Chin to chest, folding forward. So let's do that together 3 times. And push into the palms of your hands. One more. Making each breath as big as you possibly can. And then come back up to sitting. So be as tall as you can here. Nice long spine, lovely long spine, long neck. With lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Relax your arms now. Relax your shoulders. And set an intention for your practice today. Give yourself a moment to think of what that might be. Still breathing in and out, nice and deep and slow. Well done. All right, let's come into our practice today. So we need to always make sure that we are breathing. I just want to remind you, and I'll carry on reminding you. So if I say something ridiculous, like keep breathing, of course you're breathing all the time. Try and take yourself into that state of conscious and mindful breathing. It is so different from the everyday kind that we do. And any time in your day where you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed for any silly little reason, doesn't matter what you attach to it, but bring yourself back to that breath for just a few. And if you can move the breath with the body, it just amplifies it so much more. So we started off with a little bit of neck movement. We're going to carry on with that just for a moment. Take your chin to your chest, clasp your hands behind you. So quite a good connection, if you can, between the palms of your hands as well, not just the fingers. And chin is to chest. And then we want to roll the shoulders out. Take the shoulder blades towards each other. Take your elbows out behind you. Keep your chin to your chest and then straighten your arms. So chin is down, straighten your arms. Okay, you might not have been doing lots with your shoulders this morning, so go easy. If it's uncomfortable, ease off and come back down to a lower lift. And if it's working for you, lift up. Lift up to the point where you feel like your body is in the right place, where you're not doing it to be competitive with yourself. You're not doing it because there's some ideal you feel you have to reach, and you're not doing it against the sensations in your body. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lengthen through the back of your neck still, keeping upright, and release. Bring your arms around to the front. Now the opposite, we're sending the mid back out. So round your back, round, 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 reaching your hands forward. So now clasp your fingers together, round your back and lean back as far as you can. So we're starting to use thighs, use the calves, and then push your hands forward. So we're doing the opposite. We're taking your shoulder blades as far away from each other as we can. And then leaning back in a rather ungainly manner, but we're stretching out across the top of the back, mid back as well. And dip your head down. You might start to feel some pressure in the back of your head, the backs of your eyes, around your ears. Breathe into that. And then sending your hands forward. Let your hands guide you. So send your hands forward. Your body comes along afterwards. Send your hands all the way forward. Reach forward as far as you can. And then take your hands down to the mat. And if you have a little space, you can slide them, and I meant space in your body. I'm sure you've got space around you. Slide your hands forward a little bit more, opening up under the arms, across the shoulders, drop your head. Now we're trying to get your arms as close to the mat as possible. So sink your arms down. Maybe you'll get your forearms on the mat, maybe not, don't worry. So we're sliding away and pressing the arms down towards the ground. And then dragging to come up. So leave your arms, don't worry about your arms, just sit up slowly and let your hands just drag along the mat. Just feel what that feels like in the palms of your hands, what the surface of your mat is like, and come all the way up to sitting again. Lovely. Take your arms out to the sides. As I squish around, squivel around. Take your arms out to the sides, and we're going to do some small arm circles. So whichever direction you want to go in, clockwise or anti-clockwise. I suppose one is clockwise and one is anti-clockwise. Think about that one for a moment. Take the circles a little bigger. So while we're doing this, try not to have tension in your shoulders. It sounds easy, but it might not be quite so easy. So taking your arms wide. So the tops of our arms, unless we're actively doing some weights or we have a very active hobby or active in our everyday lives or our jobs, they tend to get a little neglected and start to be a little untoned. So here we go. There is a reason for this movement. Toning up the upper arms and getting some nice mobility in the shoulders. So your circles are getting ever bigger, very slow, deliberate movements. Shoulders moving, but the rest of your torso hopefully staying quite still. And think about your spine being lovely and long. Have you got tension in your jaw here? Try and release. And the same for your neck. Big, wide circles. Now maybe you're coming all the way up, as close to the ceiling as possible, as far back and down to the floor. Well, I hope you are. And as you lift your arms up, breathe in. As they come down, breathe out. Now your arms are probably starting to feel it now. So let's reverse and big circles the other way. How's that feeling in your shoulders? Start to make the circles a little slower, not quite touching the floor anymore. By the way, if they're starting to be uncomfortable, you're in the right place. Smaller and smaller circles. Take it right down now. Tiny, tiny, tiny circles. And well done. Take your hands down to the floor. Just leave them there for a moment. Take a breath. And then come in for a hug. So rounding your back, wrapping your arms around each other and around you, and either hand on the opposite shoulder blade, and gently squeeze and stretch out across the top of your back, round and rest. That's it. Come all the way back up. Open your arms out as far as possible, as if you're trying to get the backs of your hands to touch each other behind you, which they will not. And then opposite hug. Hands on your shoulder blades. Make that lovely firm connection. Hold on to your shoulders and then round and relax. Well done. Well, shoulders are warmed up, so let's put them into action now. Take your hands to the mat. Take your knees to the mat. Coming first into a nice cat-cow combination, and seeing as we are, well, I wasn't actually going to do Chakravakasana today, but let's get some work going on the spine. So let's do a quick few rounds, Chakravakasana. You don't need me to talk you through this, but do remember your breath, and do remember to go to the furthest most point possible for you. And breathing in, belly down, all that space in the lungs, and then breathing out. Pull the belly up. Two more, just two more. Make them gorgeous. Luxuriate in that stretch. Oh. What a lucky spine to get a little warm up first thing in the morning. There we go. Neutral now. Tuck your toes under. And we're going to lean back. So come to sit back on your heels. And we're pressing down. So think about what's going on with your toes now. Stretching out your toes. Stretching out under your feet, the soles of your feet. Lift your knees off the mat a little. So a little precarious balance here. We're on our palms of our hands and our toes. Pushing back. Knees are off the mat. So you're having to squeeze your thighs up towards your chest. And then take your knees back down to the mat. Look to your hands, and we're going to come to downward facing dog. So send your bottom up towards the ceiling. Stay up on toes. So lovely long legs. Breathe. Adjust your arms and hands so that you have enough space between your arms for your head to hang freely without touching your arms, and that you can widen your shoulders. So we're still up on toes, still taking that belly button towards your spine, still taking your sit bones up towards the ceiling, and then gently bringing your heels down towards the ground. Very slowly. Slow, 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 slow. Whoa, shouty, shouty calves. Shouty, shouty hamstrings. Whew. So let's just ease into this a little, because you, like me, might have shouty calves and hamstrings today. If not, enjoy, lift your toes. But if you feel like it, let's bend. So bend the right knee, let the right hip sink down towards the mat. And then we're going to swap. So we're moving the hips from side to side. So wiggling your bum from side to side and bending and straightening. So one leg bent, one leg straight, and taking your hips over to the side. So we get a little bit of side bend here. So as you take your hips over to the left and the left knee is bent, press into your right hand and notice hopefully that you've got a stretch all the way up under your arm. And then the other side. There we go. Come back to neutral, so both feet flat to the floor or heading towards flat. Send your sit bones up. Relax your head and neck. Breathe. And then we're going to look to the hands. Take the knees into a hover. So bend your knees. Bring your shoulders above your wrists. Knees are off the ground. Quite a lot of nice strength in the core needed here. So enjoy that feeling of warmth. Remember to press into your fingers, not just into your wrists. And then take yourself back up into downward facing dog. Here we go. Let's have a rest here for a moment. In through your nostrils and out through your mouth. From your belly button towards your spine. And then look to your hands, and we're going to step the right foot forward. So first of all, we're going to lift the right foot up. Take your right foot up towards the ceiling. Then bring your right knee into your chest. And then stepping that foot forward between your hands. So we're coming into a nice long lunge pose. So let's stay here for a moment in this runner's lunge. Sink your hips. Make sure that your heel is pointing back. Or both heels actually. And you might be flat to your hands, you might be up on fingertips. I have got lovely short arms, so I'm up on my fingertips. There we go. And then we're going to take that left knee down to the mat. Release the left toes, so top of the foot flat to the mat. And then we're going to lean back. So move your hands back. You might have to drag that right foot back towards you a little. Come down to sitting on your left foot. And folding forward. Keeping some weight into your arms. Stay comfortable here. We're stretching out that right hamstring all along the back of your right leg. Don't forget to breathe. There we go. And then looking forward, walking the hands forward, coming up. And then we are folding forward. So the foot pretty much stays where it is. We're not really folding forward. That's not quite right. We are leaning forward. So taking your chest to your right thigh now. So we're going from left thigh to right thigh, and then we'll go back again. So think about the compression in your right side of your groin. Keep your hips level. We're not focusing too much on the left foot here, more in the thigh. We want to have that lovely big stretch here in the front of the thigh. And then also to try and get your torso to your right thigh. I'm saying torso and thigh 10 times fast. That's quite tricky. And then we tuck the toes under for the left foot. And then walk the hands back. And we don't tuck the toes under, what I've been talking about. We're going to do another round. So come back. Now we're taking chest to left thigh. There we go. Pressing in, taking your right knee as close to the ground as you can. If it wants to start hovering, try and press it back down a little. And then coming back up. This time we do take the toes under, lift up that back leg. We're into our long lunge again. And then we're going to come up to standing. But standing in a lunge. So not quite fully standing, half standing. And then hands back to the floor. Take that right foot back, coming into downward facing dog again. And breathing. So notice if there's any difference here in the sensation at the back of your right leg, at the back of your left leg. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't. Just notice. And then we're looking forward again. The left foot comes up and back and up towards the ceiling. Bring your left thigh into your chest and step forward between your hands. And we come into that lovely long, low lunge. We're trying to take the hips down towards the ground. You're taking your weight into your hands and your fingertips as well. Staying low. And breathe. And then we're taking the right knee down. Release the right foot. And we walk the hands back, walk ourselves back all the way. Taking your chest to your thigh if you can. Sitting back on that right heel if you can. And trying to get that left knee close to the ground. So stay low here. Breathe. Remember to breathe into any of the bits of your body that are feeling a little stuck, feeling a little unused perhaps. The parts of your body that you want to give the attention to stretch, to bring better circulation and your attention to. So I don't know about you, but the back of my knee here is extremely tight. So I'm just breathing into that space, allowing my leg to be where it wants to be, but at the same time, just gently pushing and trying to relax the muscles that aren't actively needed right now. And then looking forward, walking the hands forward, changing. Come to a nice opening on the left, or on the right rather, and a compression on the left. And remember, this is amazing for our lymphatic system, which is a sort of pump and valve system, or it's a pumpless valve system. And we need all the compression of muscles and action of muscles to get the lymphatic drainage system working. And then let's go all the way back again. You know where you are this time. Been here before. And then looking forward, coming all the way back again. And then I'm going to tuck the toes under. Lift that back leg. Bring the left leg so that your knee is above your ankle. And then we stand up from here. Enjoy our nice low lunge. So lots on the hips, lots and lots on the hips, lots on the lymph nodes, the lymphatic system of the lower body. And this time we are going to step the left foot to meet the right foot. So hands down to the mat, step that right foot and left foot together. And allow your head to fold, neck, upper back, mid back, maybe even your lower back, just completely hanging. Nice, easy forward bend, Uttanasana. So we had a little bit of inversion already with our downward facing dog, but a little bit more now. So here we are in Uttanasana. I'd like you to take your hands, and if you have to bend your knees, go ahead and bend your knees. Bring your hands so that you step on to the palms of your hands, and the backs of your hands are on the floor. Gosh, I've got cold toes. Anybody else got cold toes? So squishing your hands into the floor with your feet, with your toes. And then lengthening through your arms and straightening your knees if they're bent. Allowing your head and neck to be completely at ease here. Lovely, peaceful space in your head and neck and shoulders. So it might be that the backs of your legs are complaining a little louder because we've raised the fronts of our feet off the floor by standing on our hands. Other than in yoga, standing on your hands is probably not something you do very often. So from here, we are going to leave that really good strong connection between your foot and your hand on the right and the left. And we're going to try and stand up. So we're not going to allow the hands to move, but we're just going to stretch a little across the top of the back as you pull away with your arms, with your back lifting up towards the ceiling, and at the same time you're pressing down with your toes. Do you feel a little bit of tension there in your elbows, in your shoulders? And release. Release your hands. And we're slowly going to come up to standing. Back up to having your head upright. So let's come into Tadasana, mountain pose. We haven't done this for a little while, although it really informs a lot of the standing poses. So feet, let's go a little wider than hip width. So not much. Just look down and check. And then let's stand up straight. So pelvis, tuck your pelvis just a little bit under. So squeeze your glutes very lightly. Then roll your shoulders forward, up and back. So you'll find that nice upright posture. Lengthen through the neck. And then let's take the arms so that your palms are facing forward. Adjust if you need to. You might want to turn your feet out a little bit. So mountain pose, we want to be as strong and as steady as we can. So think about what that would look like for you. If you want to be standing somewhere where you know somebody's going to come up and shove you and you're not going to move at all. Shove you in a nice way. Just as if your mountain is rocky or steady. Don't forget to breathe. All right, so now we've found this pose. There's probably parts of us that we're squeezing because we are maintaining the pose. So relax now, stay where you were, but relax everything. So relax your arms, relax your shoulders, relax your pelvis, relax your legs. And find that stillness, steady, constant. Unmoved. And sometimes when life is busy, we need to go and find that inner mountain. Lovely. So let's come to a tree now, a little bit more movable. Taking your weight into your left foot Bring your right foot either into your calf, into your upper calf, or up into your groin. You choose. Choose one. We won't do all three today. We'll just pick one. So pick one. Make sure that you're not tilting your pelvis. Try and bring yourself into a nice neutral position for your pelvis. Remember that the knee is always moving out, so you've got some pressure and some tension in the right glute and the top of your right thigh. Bring your arms to whatever position works for you. Remember, sternum comes up, lengthening through the front of your body, lifting your chin. Well done. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're still keeping on that standing leg, lovely strong standing leg. Bring your hands to your foot. Now, if it's comfortable for you, change the angle so that your foot comes into the top of your thigh. And hold on, hold your toes. So your right knee now, instead of going out to the side, is pointing down towards the ground. So press your knee back. We're still having to balance. And if balancing is tricky business today, then find something to hold on to. Remember to find that point to stare at. I know it doesn't help if you're staring at me because I'm not being very steady at all. I've got the wobbles today. So from here, we're going to fold forward. Okay, so sending your hips back. Bring that foot back again. Well done. Sometimes if you have one hand on your thigh and one hand on your foot and you're gently pulling your foot towards you, it helps with the balance. So folding forward. Steady in that standing leg. And come to wherever works for you. If you're happy to go down towards the ground, come down towards the ground. And then you've got your hands to the floor, sending your sit bones up towards the ceiling, folding forward. If that is a little too far today, just folding forward, looking at the ground in front of you. And then when you're ready, coming back all the way back up to standing. And release that right leg, but bring it up. So bring your knee up, hold on. You can clasp your hands around and pull your knee into your chest. We've had a lot of knee into chest already today, so you've got a lovely range of movement there already. We're just doing it a different way around. So knee into chest. I know this is a lot of work on the left leg. Well done. If you have to come out, and then come back in. And then we're going to hold on to the right foot with a yoga hold on the right toe, big toe. Or if you know that's not good for you, then on the outside edge. All right, come back when you're ready. And we're going to send that right foot out. Keep your focus, keep breathing. And we just do what we can and what works for us every day, okay? Well done. And we're going to release and hold up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down. Oh, well done. Take the legs wide, hands to hips. Send your hips back and let's come to a lovely little rest. You know we're going to do this on the other side. We'll be grateful for it later. So head down, shoulders relaxed. Hands just gently on your hips or take them to your lower back and rest them on your sternum. Sternum? Good grief, don't rest them on your sternum. I'm mixing up my body parts here. Just leave them on your lower back by your sacrum. Breathing in and out very deeply and slowly. Lifting your kneecaps up, so not locking your legs. And then gently coming all the way back. So nice straight back to come up if you can, using your legs, very strong in the legs, all the way up. And there we go. Let's come into standing on the right leg. So a little bit of tree. Remember, 1, 2, 3, whichever one suits you. Whoa, I have got the wobbles. Right. Focus, Kate. Come on, focus, focus. There we go. I'm going to have my arms nice and wide to help me with my wobbly tree today. There we go. So remember, standing leg, we squeeze into that thigh to give the foot a nice firm place to press against. Knees coming out to the side. Hips are relaxed and level if you can. Lift your sternum. Yes, sternum this time, not sacrum. There we go. Lifting. Steady, lovely. Breathe. There we go. Wonderful. And then either stay here or let's come into that fold. I know it can be tricky, but do what you can. There's no marks out of 10 for anything here. Every single thing you are doing is benefiting your beautiful body and your mind and your spirit. So breathing in, folding forward. And again, coming to where is appropriate for you. We are balancing, we're challenging ourselves here. And then coming back up, woohoo, or not. Coming all the way back up. And releasing that leg. Bring in for a hug. So lovely squeeze. And then we're going to extend. So same hand, same leg. So we go left hand, left leg. Hand on hip if it helps. Extending your leg out. So I found it a lot easier balancing on the other side today. I'm a little wobbly on this side. And that's not good or bad, just noticing. And then letting go and holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Leg all the way back down. Take your legs a little wide and come down very slowly into a squat. So we're going to take the arms up, slowly coming into a lovely squat, very slow. So legs are wide. If you can, bring your bottom to touch the floor. And then take your bottom off again. And that was just for a little play. Now we're going to bring the bottom back down. Release. Bring yourselves into cross-legged pose. So we are going to do a lovely twist here because we haven't done a twist yet today. So let's take the right leg down, left leg over the right knee. So sit bones are on the floor. Don't sit on your foot. And spine lovely and straight. And we're going to use the arms, so right hand to left knee. Hold around wherever is comfortable and use that to turn yourself around. So shoulders up, shoulders broad, left arm comes back. So a little bit of a twist on this side and looking around behind you. If you can, if it works for you, you can bring your shoulder in line with your knee and tuck your right elbow on the back of your left knee. Bring your hand into sort of a stop sign and use that to help pivot yourself around even more. Otherwise, just hold on to that knee as you were. The challenge here is often just to keep breathing. Slow and deep. And release. Bring your head back to center. Release your arm. And let's change sides. So swap your legs around. Ooh, how about you? Suddenly felt that in my thigh. Sitting up lovely and tall, trying to get the right foot flat to the floor. Don't worry if it doesn't entirely go flat. And not sitting on this left foot. Sit bones both on the floor and lifting up tall before we twist. So holding on or using your elbow in there for that stop sign. Whatever works best for you. Notice where you feel the twist. Is it right down in the bottom of your spine or the mid or upper back? Hopefully a little bit of all three. You might just be feeling it in one place more than the others. And release. Coming back to center, bringing your legs into Baddha Konasana. Last bit of hip work here. So well done. Lots of strong movements for the hips. And a bit of warming up the shoulders and the spine. So we've kept everything quite into the center today. So knees are going out to the sides. I might be chit-chatting, but at the same time, I am always paying attention to different parts of my body and figuring out where they're meant to be in this asana, where I can get a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more of a compression perhaps. So lifting away, lift your shoulders away from your hands, hands cupped around your feet. And that will give you a little bit of a twist as well, twist in the ankle, a little bit of twist in the knee perhaps. And breathe. Well done. So squeeze your glutes here. It's a very dynamic position. It looks like we're just sitting, but actually we're working quite hard here. Pressing your knees down to the side. You should have a sensation in your thighs now, almost like they're starting to shiver and shake because the muscles are going into a little bit of a wobble. And lift your pelvic floor, why not, while we're here. Bringing your belly in towards your spine at the same time. And release. Whew, let go. Bring your knees up to your chest, taking your feet off, wrapping your arms around. So balance and tuck your head at the same time. Chin to chest, forehead to your knees. Hopefully you've got a little bit of a stretch down your spine or down the muscles either side of your spine. So balancing and lengthening through the spine. And you round yourself into a tiny little shape. And one very important posture that we haven't yet done today is child's pose. So we're going to do that now. Tuck your feet around each other. So cross your ankles, bring them close into you. Take your knees forward, coming all the way forward. Release your feet so you uncross them. Bring yourselves back to your lovely balasana posture with your thighs and your torso connected, your hips and your heels touching, and your arms extending out forward in front of you. Bring your forehead to the mat. And relax. Find your most comfortable version or the version that you feel you need today. Sometimes it's very intuitive. You just have to go with what feels right. Whether you want your knees apart, knees together. Try and tune into the very subtle messages you get from your body that we largely ignore, and start building those connections and that ability to hear what you're being told. Think about the space where your forehead touches the mat. And allow your head and neck and shoulders to completely relax. Drawing up energy from the ground, from the earth. And breathing slowly and evenly and deeply. And then lifting your head, bring your hands either side of your face, lifting up, step back. We're not done yet, girls, boys, anybody doing this video later on in life. So stretching the arms away. So you're pressing your hands down into the mat, lifting your shoulders up to the sky. Squeezing your glutes, keeping your body hopefully in a straight-ish line. And then we're going to rock forward and rock back. Forward and back. Let's do that 6 times. Well done. Take your hips up. Last downward facing dog. Back to where we started. And then taking yourself up onto your toes. Bring your knees down towards the mat. Release your feet. Send yourself back into balasana one last time. Reaching forward with your arms, opening up under the arms. Allowing your neck to be relaxed and long. Resting your forehead on the mat. And before we come into our final sequence, we're going to do a little bit of a back bend because we haven't had one in today yet. So looking forward to your hands again, sliding forward, trying to keep your chest low, bottom high, coming into puppy dog. And then coming down to lying on your mat, on your belly. I've run out of mat, so I've got to move my legs rather than my top half. So let yourself completely relax onto your mat. Give yourself lots of space. Arms either side. So hands flat to the floor, either side of your chest. Elbows up towards the ceiling. And then we're into a little bit of a back bend here. We've already warmed up with our puppy briefly. So looking forward, lifting up into Bhujangasana. Cobra pose. So pressing the tops of your feet into the mat, squeezing your glutes, pressing into your hands, and starting to move a little further. Now you've done this lots of times before, so come to where works for you for today, for right now. Hold for a moment. Send your sternum forward. And then bringing yourself gently back to the mat. Tuck your toes under. Bring yourself up and back. And briefly into resting on your knees and thighs. Before coming up to sitting, roll your hands either side of you to be able to push and move wherever it is you need to move to align yourself so that you're on the right position on your mat to come down to lying on your back. So we're going to go very slowly. Extend your arms out in front of you, point them towards your toes, and start to lean backwards. If you know this isn't appropriate for your back, then just come to lying on the mat any way that works for you. Otherwise, you're looking at your toes, slowly rolling down with some control. Till you come to resting on your back, on your mat. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a hug, a little bit of a rock from side to side. Taking your arms out to the side. Bring your knees over to the right. Gazing over to the left. And bringing your gaze back to center, bringing your knees back to center, and then straight over to the other side. And your gaze is in the opposite direction. Gaze back to center, knees back to center. One more hug. Bring your attention back to your sankalpa. What is it that you want more of in your life? And then with your eyes closed, bring yourself into your shavasana. Stretching out, arms away from the body, legs, little space between. And adjust and move until you feel completely comfortable, until you find the length and space that is what you need for today, for every part of you. And breathe slowly and deeply. Taking your breath all the way down into your feet, into your hands, into your legs, into your arms. Breathing slow and deep, letting go, coming to complete rest. Taking your attention around your body, do a scan. And everywhere that you take your attention to, allow the muscles to relax. Allow that part of your body to sink a little deeper. With every breath, feeling a little more relaxed. Easing, relaxing, letting go. With every breath in, breathing in light and warmth, and filling up, feeling full of brightness and hope and joy and possibility. And with every out breath, letting go, making space. And slowly bringing your attention back to yourself. Coming to lie on your right side. And when you're ready, coming up to sitting. However is comfortable for you, cross-legged if that works. And sitting up nice and tall, bringing your hands together at heart center. Pressing your right palm to your left palm to your right. And then rubbing your hands together. Let's get some warmth and heat, some sparks maybe. And cup them over your eyes, blinking into that nice dark space. Take a deep breath in. And out. And in again. And out. And one last time as you breathe in. Lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, gently bringing your hands back into Namaste Mudra at your heart center. And Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining you on the mat. And I hope you have a lovely day.